Hello and a very, very good morning to everyone. Thank you for joining in. On behalf of Asia Pacific Evaluation Association, I welcome you all to the Brown Bag series on professionalization of evaluation. I am Maha Salman and I co-lead the professionalization of evaluation team at APIA. Once again, today is our sixth session and I welcome you all to the Brown Bag series. So the idea behind Brown Bag series is to quickly follow up with BOPE's EY chapters, parliamentarians, and members of the evaluation community in the region on the progress that they've made about their evaluation goals and the commitments pertinent to the professionalization theme. In these sessions, we talk about goals, we talk about activities, we talk about challenges, we talk about everything and anything related to professionalization of evaluation. And we get feedback, we get guidance from each other, we learn from each other's experience. We talk about the existing professionalization products and we think about what is missing so that we can develop new products. And more importantly, we explore opportunities to collaborate and form partnerships for achieving shared goals. So as I mentioned, today is our sixth session. And today we have our colleagues, our friends in the evaluation community from Bhutan. So today we have with us Dr. Phuntsho Chodin, who is the chair of Evaluation Association of Bhutan. And we have Tashi Dender, who is the co-leader of EvalYouth Bhutan. And today they will be discussing about the enabling environment in Bhutan. So thank you both. Thank you, Dr. Phuntsho, and thank you, Tashi, for joining in. So as you all know, if you've been following the Brown Bag series, this is a 30-minute session. So I will not take much time. I will hand over the floor to our esteemed guests. And then after the presentations, we will have a Q&A session. So stay with us and have a great session. So over to you, Phuntsho and Tashi. Dr. Phuntsho, you're on mute.
Oh, sorry for that. And I welcome everyone to the sixth session of professionalizing evaluation. And today we are going to share experiences of Bhutan in professionalizing evaluation. And two of us will be speaking on this. And I will straight away begin my presentation as there is not much time. So as we speak on the professionalization of evaluation, and we will be focusing more on enabling environment in Bhutan. And when we talk about professionalizing evaluation, so firstly, we need to understand what is professionalization mean? What does it really mean? And next slide. Can you go to next slide, Tashi? Okay, so what this professionalization really mean? To answer this question, I looked at the definition of professionalization by IOC, and where they defined professionalization as a set of actions aiming to equip evaluators with a strong values, knowledge, skill in evaluation that support the likelihood of quality and useful evaluation. So ultimately, what we are trying to do here, or ultimate outcome we are looking at, is the quality of evaluation and useful evaluation. So for that, we need to equip our evaluator, and that sets of action is called professionalization. And I believe when it comes to the country, it really depends. The activities you carry out will really depend on how far you have gone in the process of developing evaluation culture and practice of evaluation in the country. So in Bhutan, from that perspective, we are at the moment strengthening the evaluation culture, advocating for practice of evaluation, informing and educating people on value and importance of evaluation, and at the same time developing the capacity of evaluators. And this is how we implement as professionalizing evaluation in the country at the moment. And next slide. So with this, it is very important to look at what are some enabling environment we have in Bhutan. And at the moment, in the past system as well as in the current system, we have designated government agency responsible for M&E. So hopefully this will continue and this will be strengthened in the future to come. And also, like, there is a good practice of evidence-based planning, because our 5-year based planning, which the government follows, it's really come forward so much in moving towards people-based planning, and where the grassroots level participations are taken into consideration. So we have actually a good set practice of evidence-based planning in terms of also like how we have embraced the changes over the years, and also our focus on the alternative ways of development and philosophy of development really stands the practice of evidence-based planning. And also our government has initiated drafting of national evaluation policy and protocol, but yet to be enacted at the moment. And Evaluation Association of Bhutan as a WOP was established with the support from the government, and it has been supported even till now. And we now have evaluation EvalYouth Bhutan working closely with EAB in advocating for evaluation. Next slide, please. And with this, we have Evaluation Association of Bhutan working towards building a culture of evaluation in the country. And we have wholesome, we have a guide, we are guided as an organization. We have a strong guide in building a wholesome evaluation system. This is our vision as an organization. Wholesome evaluation based on the principle of intergenerational, based on the principle of gender inclusive and equity focus, spirituality, which is supporting and respecting people's way of life. These are the principles we are working towards in building a wholesome evaluation system in the country, which is very much a value-based, and professionalization is professionalization of evaluation is very much part of this vision and goal. So next slide, please. And with this vision as guiding us, so Evaluation Association of Bhutan is striving to build evaluation culture in the country. We are advocating to educate and inform people about the value of evaluation, and also like promoting evaluation as an integral element of the development process, so that really looking at internalizing evaluation, not as evaluation coming as an external component. And also we are looking at developing capacity and skill of our evaluators, which is very important part of evaluation. If we really want a valuable or reliable or credible evaluation to be produced, we need the capacity of our evaluators to be built. And also finally, we are working towards contributing to the knowledge generation, especially when we want to build an evaluation system which is culturally responsive and sensitive to the people. We need to produce our own knowledge generation, which is context relevant. So we are trying to build, generate knowledge, and also contribute to evidence-based planning and policy formulation process in the country. So these are what our activities are gearing towards, with the guidance, with our vision I have already stated, which is wholesome evaluation, building a wholesome evaluation for Bhutan. So these are some of the activities we do. Next slide, please. And our focus area at the moment is really on 3 things: developing evaluation culture and professionalizing evaluation, and develop capacity and skill of our evaluators. And really at the moment, we are into advocating and letting people know and educate educate the people on the value of education, so that people talk about evaluation, and the evaluation becomes the daily discourse of the people. So that is our aim at the moment. And with this, next slide, please. And but we have number of challenges and gaps in our work we do, and number one is we really need to value, inculcate the culture of evaluation and educate people and inform people about the value of monitoring and evaluation, what it can do. And that's how the people will talk about evaluation as part of their discourse. And when they do that, it means that they are taking the ownership of development and they are demanding for evaluation. And that is how we look at while we advocate. People need to be discussed evaluation as part of their daily discourse, and they would ultimately demand for evaluation rather than seeing evaluation as something imposed upon them. And in doing that, parliamentarians and government play very important role. And at the moment, we do not have parliamentarian forum for evaluation, and we really need to work towards that. And other thing is the national evaluation policy and guidelines, which are already enacted, which are already been drafted but not enacted. And we also need to work towards this enacting these policies. And also when we look at the evaluation quality, and when we talk about the credible evaluation, we need to have competencies, framework, ethical standards which need to be developed. And these are some of the future activities we will be working towards. And other thing is, at the moment, we do not have academic training institutions or any training institution that provides a regular training for capacity building and skill development of our evaluation. And these are some things we need to work at and look at and collaborate with existing institutions in the country. And the last and least is, last but not the least is, we have the dearth of research and knowledge generation in the country. And especially when we look at building a wholesome evaluation system, which is responsive to the people's culture and people's way of life, we really need to generate our knowledge of our, based on our local knowledge, which are relevant to the context. So these are lacking at the moment, and these are some things where we really need to fill in and work towards, especially to when we look at building the profession for evaluation, professionalizing evaluation, we need to have a strong knowledge generation in the country, which are context relevant, so that based on that we can build our professionalized evaluation. So these are some things we need to work, and gaps we have, and these are also like gaps as well as the challenges we face at the moment when we really advocate for evaluation, as well as move on professionalizing evaluation. So with this, I will end my presentation, and I will hand over the platform to Mr. Tashendu, another speaker from Bhutan. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Pinto. I also would like to join Dr. Pinto in thanking Apia and the people behind a Brown Bag series for giving us an opportunity to share what we have been doing as VOPE and YEE wing in professionalization of evaluation in Bhutan. So just for the benefit of some of you here who are new to EvalYouth Bhutan, I would like to present a brief background on EvalYouth Bhutan. So we are a country chapter of EvalYouth Asia, EvalYouth Global Network, and we are also a young and emerging evaluators wing of Evaluation Association of Bhutan, who is our VOPE. We launched our country chapter on 20th February 2021, and as of now, we have about 20 registered members. In case, when it comes to our vision, mission, and objectives, as Dr. Pinto mentioned earlier, these are our vision, mission, and objectives are in sync with EvalYouth Asia, EvalYouth Global, EvalYouth Global Network, and EAV. So in a way, we are just trying to reinforce and support the efforts of our VOPI and other EvalYouth networks across Asia Pacific and the world around to work towards professionalization of evaluation. Just to share some of our milestones, what we have achieved thus far and what we have done in last about 20 months. We are very proud to say that we could launch our country chapter within a month of task force formation. All our gratitude goes to APIA and our VOPE, and also EvalYouth the network across Asia Pacific, like Pakistan, Afghanistan, India, Sri Lanka, Nepal, and Philippines, who has helped us from building our concept note to preparing for the launching event. And we also did a number of membership drive where we shared our vision, our mission, and our objectives, and we also could pull in some of the members who are interested in evaluation. And we also conducted a couple of advocacy campaigns in colleges and institutes, not just going there and advocating on the existence of EAB and EYB, but also encouraging them to join us on board as registered members. And we also have our representation in our VOPE's board. Our VOPE has been kind enough to accommodate some of our co-leaders as a member of the board, so that our voices are also being heard, and we are also involved and engaged in planning various programs towards professionalizing evaluation in Bhutan. Even in APIA's board, our VOPE has been kind enough to nominate one of us. For now, I'm representing from Bhutan as a member of APIA's board. And we also have our representation in EvalYouth Asia as co-leaders and members. And until now, we have been supporting EAB Secretariat in planning, implementing, and then organizing events under the guidance of Dr. Pinto. Some of our efforts that we put forward towards professionalization of evaluation in Bhutan includes advocacy campaigns on evaluation in relevant colleges and institutes, as shared by Dr. Pinto earlier. And then we also try to promote on importance of monitoring and evaluation through our social media handouts. We have our social media handouts, in all forms of social media platforms. So we not only try to create contents for ourselves and then advocate on M&E, but also share the programs and courses and then an important webinars such as Groundwork series conducted by APIA on our social media handles as well, so that the wider audience of Bhutan can also get an opportunity to attend and learn about M&E. We are also involved, and we also got an opportunity to engage and involve in evaluation assignments with EAB, so that some of our members also get hands-on training on real-time evaluation assignments. In collaboration with our VOPE Evaluation Association Bhutan, we also conducted a number of webinars and workshops. And we also do collaborate and have a partnership with regional networks like APIA, EvalYouth Asia, EvalYouth Global Network, and other country chapters in conducting various programs towards professionalizing M&E. Some of the noteworthy programs that we took part are Walk the Talk campaign, Asia Pacific Winter School, Each One Teach One, then Eval for Action, Youth in Evaluation, APIA Conference, Eval Fest, P2P sessions. So our co-leaders and our core members are actively engaged in all these programs, which are ultimately designed for professionalizing evaluation in Asia Pacific and beyond. So as mentioned by Dr. Pinto earlier, when we carry out activities and have plans in place to professionalize evaluation, we also face some challenges. I think these challenges are not uncommon to other member states. So these challenges are also being faced by other country chapters. So funding is one issue when we have activities in place, plans of activities in place. We face dearth of funding. So this is one of our challenges. And then there's also a lack of opportunities, or rather say that the opportunities are very minimal in Bhutan to involve in real-time evaluation engagement. So we do not get much opportunity to have hands-on experience of evaluating programs, projects, and policies. And as our VOPI is also in the stage of establishing itself, this lack of professional guidance for YEE, but until now, our EAB under the leadership of Dr. Pinso, they have been trying to engage us in as many activities that they have in place. And one thing is that EvalYouth Bhutan is run by a group of interested individuals on a voluntary basis. So we are also now worried or having a concern that over the time, if this unpaid voluntary works has to be sustained, if this voluntary assignment has to be sustained, there should be some mechanism to at least reward the volunteers. And one of our shortcomings or challenges that we face currently is that our secretariat is run fully by voluntary members. So these are some of the challenges. And a couple of way forwards that we foresee is that professional guidance by VOPE, example, some of our professional evaluators who sits on the board of Evaluation Association of Bhutan can also engage interested young and emerging evaluators in real-time evaluation programs, so that we get hands-on experience and also get more interested into this area. And another thing is that there's also an opportunity where we can collaborate with UN agencies to involve young and emerging evaluators in evaluation assignments, because in Bhutan, I think the case is same in many of the countries where government does not focus more on evaluation, rather they focus more on monitoring. So only those projects and programs funded by external agencies like UN agencies they have their focus on evaluation. So now we are thinking that we can maybe collaborate with UN agencies to involve our young and emerging evaluators. And in this case, there's also an opportunity for us to learn from evaluate networks such as Pakistan and Sri Lanka on good practices such as YE engagement plans. So as of now, we do not have any engagement plans. So going forward, we are looking forward to learn it from our fellow evaluate partners across Asia Pacific to develop young and emerging evaluators engagement plans, so that our members are being guided and they're being trained, and then we also have plans in place to how to engage them in this M&E field. So that's all from my end. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Fonsho, and thank you, Dashi, for this very informative these presentations. And firstly, I would really congratulate both of you and your teams and the entire Evaluation Association of Bhutan and EvalYouth Bhutan for the great work they're doing. It's good that both of you were very candid about the challenges in your fields and in your country, and how you are trying to face or work towards the missing gaps. So in this evaluation community and with the brown bag session have been working, we have heard from speakers coming from different countries where in some countries evaluation is they're doing, they've done a lot of work and they're leading professionalization. Whereas in some countries in the region, it is still a new concept, and we're still, really doing step by step. We're trying to achieve something and create more awareness about it. And of course, a lot of the times it is the entire system that you have to anchor evaluation. As you said, Dr. Poncho, you really have to internalize it because it's a new concept, it's a new thing. And for all the stakeholders to take part, you really need to give roles and responsibilities to each stakeholder. So on that note, we've got some great questions in the chat box. I think it's a good time to now go to the chat box and look at some of the questions that we've gotten. Yes. So the first question is from Carlos, and he's asking how supportive are government structures in Bhutan related to the professionalization of evaluation? Is there a government demand of evaluation services? So I believe, Dr. Funsho, you can take this question.
Okay, thank you for a very good question. I think, yeah, as we have already touched upon on our presentation, that at the moment evaluation is quite new, especially in all the organization in Bhutan, and much of the work focus so far is mainly on monitoring. And from that perspective, so monitoring works are done very extensively. So looking at this, the demand of evaluation is quite low, especially if you look at from the government side. There is not much demand at the moment. And that's why we are saying that we are advocating and trying to educate people on the value of evaluation, what it can do. And that's how, like, our main aim is to let people talk about evaluation as a daily discourse kind of thing, so that people understand the value of evaluation. When people understand the value of evaluation, then they will start demanding for evaluation. And that's when it really means that people are taking the ownership of the development. And that's how we target ourselves and set our goal, so that we advocate for building the evaluation culture in the country and advocate for the practice of evaluation, so that our people understand, people at the grassroots level understand the value of evaluation. So when people at the grassroots level understand the value of the evaluation, then evaluation can really do a magic here. So then that really means that people understands the that really means the internalization of evaluation as a part of the development process, right? So that's our goal. And at the moment, there is not much demand for evaluation from the government, and little demand for evaluation that is there in the country is coming from most like donor-funded projects and all the projects and programs which are funded by donor. So I hope I answered the question.
Thank you, Dr. Funsho, and thank you, Carlos, for this question. And I see that you have also posted another question. This one, maybe Tashi, is more relevant to you. So the question is, did EvalYouth Bhutan establish any strategic relationship with any UN agency for promoting engagement of YEEs with consultancy firms, which prepare and present proposals when any evaluation is announced?
Thank you, Carlos, for the question. Yeah, unfortunately, we could not establish any strategic partnership with any of the UN agencies as of now. However, some of the UN agencies such as UNICEF and UNFP through our EAB has committed some fund to support us in capacity building activities and other programs. So however, going forward, as we have learned from the brown bag series in some of the brown bag series from our fellow country chapters like EvalYouth Pakistan, looks like if we have some strategic partnership with UN agencies, they can have plans to involve young and emerging evaluators in engagement. I mean, in evaluation assignments. So we also have in place to consult EvalYouth Pakistan to how to go about it and have those partnership works in place.
Thank you for answering this. So is there any other question? If not, I have a small question also. So Dr. Funsho, you talked about internalizing evaluation. And my question to you is that when it comes to, evaluation is at times mostly misperceived as someone, like standing like a monitor that is there and, tracking all your movements. And there's like generally a negative first impression when we say monitoring and evaluation. And a lot of people, a lot of the times, people around us, they get intimidated in a work environment when they hear that there's going to be M&E, or so it kind of sounds like an audit or someone who's going to correct them, or so changing this narrative. And of course this is not what evaluation is, right? And so changing this narrative or this impression, so what do you suggest are some of the ways we can change this narrative or this impression of evaluation?
Thank you for the very interesting question. Actually, like this is the main thing which the evaluation is having an issue at the moment, like because these are some things which we really call it soft issues or difficult issues in evaluation. So basically that is the evaluation, how evaluation has been misunderstood by the people, right? And especially it is seen as similar to what audit kind of thing, and always looked at from the negative perspective. So that is the like because of all these things, that's why like our advocacies, or especially when I talked about internalizing the evaluation as part of the development process. So the main ways to do away all this negative thing, clear all these things, is to demystify the evaluation itself, right? So how we can do this is through only one way of looking at it is through educating and creating awareness among the people. And really, we really need to talk to the people at a grassroots level, and should be reaching at that level and trying to talk to them how they can understand the evaluation, why evaluation is important, and why we need to do evaluation, right? So especially like when people start understanding this, then we can really demystify the meaning of evaluation. So we can really just now what evaluation is seen as is we are looked at as very technical. Even the evaluators ourselves always believe in the technicalities of evaluation, right? So we have to move away from there, and it is not only the technical part we are looking at, and we have to really humanize the way we do things. And that's how I'm looking at in Bhutan. We are trying to build a holistic evaluation system, which means we are looking at the intergenerational perspective of how we do things, and the evaluation framework should also take into consideration the intergenerational perspective and future focus of the sustainability or any projects we do, right? And the also incorporating the spirituality, meaning that respecting the people's way of life, understanding the people's lived experiences, bringing those aspects into the evaluation would really help, I think. And these are something which really needs to work upon, and this doesn't come easily. So in order to reach that kind of stage, then we have to really focus on advocacy and creating awareness, educating people. That is the only way how we do things. I can demystify the misunderstanding we have on evaluation. So evaluation should be understood as a learning lessons and taking knowledge from the past, and not really taking as fixing responsibility and holding one responsible for the failure or something. So we have to really change that perspective, and that change could come only through advocacy and education and sharing the values of the evaluation, showing to the people, and also understanding the people's way of life and their experiences of life. So this is the only way I think, I see, really technicalize ourselves. I think being an evaluator, we should not only think about the technicality part, so that's
so much. This was such a, yes, very well. This is such a brilliant way that you've suggested. I love your approach towards, making it more human-centric, the whole experience of evaluation, and focusing on context. Of course, without context, evaluation becomes irrelevant. So that is an excellent approach. Okay, so we're almost we're over time, but there's this one last question. So maybe if you can spend like 10 seconds or something on this last question, and then we'll just wrap up. What could be the possibility of interrogating M&E systems to the Bhutan government? Are there any positive responses through the government parliamentarians in Bhutan? So Tashi or Dr. Funsho, either one of you can take this question.
Tashi, would you like to try, or I didn't get the first part of the question. What is the?
I think it was quite similar to the first question, which says about which was to do with how involved is government, or the support there is from the government. Or maybe if you want to explain the question, so Ramanayak, if I'm pronouncing your name correctly, if you would want to unmute your mic and maybe explain the question. Okay, so the mic's not working. We can either we can take your question later on, and we can email, maybe perhaps connect our speakers with you on the email, and then because we're slightly going over time, so I'm going to wrap the session over here. Thank you once again, everyone, for joining in. Thank you, Funsho, and thank you, Tashi, for joining in. This was an amazing session. We wish you all the luck in all the work that you're doing, and your colleagues and your teams are doing in evaluation. Thank you to all our participants who are here and have been so listening so attentively and asking such great questions. And thank you, the team of APIA, and the support that they provide me in arranging all these sessions. So we'll see you next month with another interesting, with another set of interesting presentations. Till then, take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you, APIA.